Hello everyone and welcome to the next video in this Compare and Contrast Graphic Design History series. So today we're going to be talking about the birth of graphic design as its own profession and with advertising. So let's get on the subject of ads. They are a fundamental aspect of all of our lives, from the radio to television to online streaming to any sort of thing that you really do. It's ad space that's everywhere, littered across our entire lives. So it might seem that ad space is cheap, since it's pretty much coming up everywhere. But did you know that at one point an ad space was as expensive as travel agency tickets? That's right, during the height of the Industrial Revolution, this time period that we're going to be focusing on, the very first ad agency, Volney Palmer of Philadelphia, started to sell space on newspapers for people that wanted to advertise. What was set in stone here would later become some of the major industry standards for graphic designers and advertising. So, to go into it with Volney Palmer. So Volney Palmer of Philadelphia opens its doors to newspaper clients across several states. They offered advice and ad space for fees negotiated with the newspaper producers. Volney Palmer would discuss their product, they would talk about what kind of attention the client wanted, and most importantly, where on the page they wanted to put their ad. Since we read from left to right, up to down, the top left part of the page had the most space and costed the most in order to take up. So Volney also served as a consultant to both newspaper makers and businesses, bridging their ideals together. He instructed newspaper agencies on how to organize type, how to lay out their papers for maximum ad space, how to make things legible, and then when it came to businesses, he advised them with what kind of message they should create, gave them reasonable input on where they should put this on the page, how to make it so that way what limited space they have, how to deliver the most impact with the smallest amount of space available. And then for a commission, he charged a commission, a rate believed to be 25% of the revenue of the ad space, which made his agency extremely wealthy in its burgeoning years. So, unfortunately, he would not be the owner of this company for very long. A man named Francis Wayland Ayer purchased his agency after about 10 years or so of it being owned. However, under Francis's leadership, the agency was able to open 3 more stores in the New England area, in no small part thanks to the innovation of steamships and new transportation methods. While the company grew, Francis saw the need to reform their system of commission and contract organization, and what he decided here would change the entire future of ad agencies, which was the open contract. Now, what was the open contract? The open contract was, and still is today, a guarantee by an agency to provide the lowest possible rates they could negotiate to their consumers by the publications. In addition, they settled on a flat commission rate of 15%, which has remained the standard in the advertising industry to this day. So, what does this have to do with graphic designers? Well, as graphic designers, we were first called to the forefront during this time period. It was Francis that had instituted one of the first wholly separate art departments in his agency, where artists worked with advertisers to create ads and layout designs. This led to the early stages of the growth of graphic design as a mainstream industry. While graphic design would still exist as a subset or a subsidiary of advertisement, it slowly grew and became a rise to its own industry. So today, graphic design encompasses many skills and techniques. However, we still bear that bit of our origin on advertisement. As advertisement turned to marketing, graphic design still maintains an intimate relationship with its counterpart. You'll be hard-pressed to find any graphic designer that hasn't interacted in any way with regards to marketing an idea or a brand. The simple fact means that although we balk at studying our history in advertising, knowing where we came from and what drove us to succeed in a market where we weren't known can help us thrive in markets today. So just think about this in this sense. We started out with advertising. It was Francis creating the very first art department. He hired people specifically to help them do art with advertising and marketing and such like that. And that was incredibly unheard of. He was the very first one to do this. So for people to see this and for companies to see how much this improved his business, that led to more and more artists being able to pick up jobs at other companies. And even though today you can find some graphic designers who've gone out and split on their own, well, today we regard marketing as separate from graphic design, but they are so closely linked together. There are so many graphic designers who double major in marketing or get a minor in marketing, and even with marketing students, I've met a few marketing students who themselves are getting a minor in graphic design due to just how closely related these two are. And it's important to note that when we first started out as graphic designers, our primary goal was to provide a service to advertisers to help them with their business, and that has still translated until today, with us existing as a service to businesses to help spread their ideals. So this was a very short bit on sort of the birth of graphic design as an industry with regards to advertising. Next time we will be talking about we're going to start going on with our art movements. So we're going to be going on to we're going to be going on to Dada, Futurism, Russian Constructivism, Plakasteel. So these next so now that we've gone with the birth of graphic design, we're now going to be going into major art movements after this, and we're going to be talking about a lot of art movements and how we can use these sort of design aesthetics to aid us. So I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Lewis. I'll see you next time.